Today we are covering the rise of plastic surgeries, various cosmetic procedures, Botox, filler, whatever have you, that young people seem to be getting more and more nowadays in order to stay youthful and prevent aging. Is this going to be another thing that I end up blaming on the internet? Maybe. We shall see. But yeah, let's dive right in. So what are these procedures that I'm talking about? Well, I would put body modifications on one side, so everything from lip filler to tattooing freckles on your face, to tattooing a mustache on your face, to changing your eye color. But then on the other hand, we also have the, cosmetic procedures, whose purpose is more so to prevent aging, reduce wrinkles, yada yada yada. And of course, this is not limited to cosmetic procedures and plastic surgeries. It also includes skincare and various other practices.
Here's some things that I do to slow down the aging process as a 14-year-old. I started doing most of these things at 12. Number 1, I take 2 apple cider vinegar pills. I do this twice a day. Number 2, I use a retinol twice a day. I love Korean skincare and I do 2 face masks a day. Next, I would always recommend a sunscreen with usually an SPF above 50. I use 3 fingers worth before my makeup. I always tape up a piece of construction paper. This blocks most of the UV rays.
Now, I decided to start with this video because I think it perfectly encapsulates the issue. A 14-year-old and preventing signs of aging, those two should not be together in a sentence. And good hygiene, moisturizing, taking care of yourself, those are all good things. But if a 14-year-old is terrified of aging, then we are all doomed. So here we have the popularization of skincare among teens and even tweens. We are seeing the rise of skincare routines and makeup routines among Gen Alpha as well. So those would be people under the age of 12, under the age of 11. And they're posting these routines on TikTok, on various social media. But a lot of those products are not meant for nor good for their young skin.
This nighttime regimen is more complicated than mine is. And my first thought is, why does this kiddo feel the need to have such a complicated regimen? He does not need a firming peptide moisturizer. Hydration serum, okay, but could just use a nice lightweight moisturizer and be done with it.
I did cover this topic in one of my previous videos, so you can check that out if you want later. But the thing is, we don't really know what the consequence of overdoing these things, doing them at such an early age, what the consequences of that could be. But again, interest in skincare, that's not necessarily a bad thing. My issue with it's how it's been blown out of proportion and how, even parents are enabling this and don't seem that concerned. I mean, I'm sure there are some parents who are concerned and are not allowing their kids to do that, even if they are seeing that on TikTok and want to emulate it. But so many parents are clearly not concerned and are just like, okay, sure, here's your drunk elephant. And we're seeing literal kids who are scared of wrinkles. What? I can only come to the conclusion that there is very little parental guidance taking place here if these kids are allowed to use products that are neither intended for, nor probably good, nor necessary for them. And of course, entering teenagehood or being a teenager is not the most fun time. I know that. I mean, I remember potential skin problems. That's just one of the struggles of being a teenager. Yes, it can be hard, but that's why we have dermatologists. We have actual experts who will look at you, will look at your skin and try to prescribe what you specifically need for the condition that you may have. It's not the best idea to just start putting everything and anything on your face just because it's the most popular thing right now. So going from Gen Alpha and younger Gen Z to Gen Z, who's a little bit older, maybe in their early, mid-20s, they're also taking the fear of aging to the next level. People in their early 20s, or before they even hit 20, they're getting procedures done like preventative Botox to prevent wrinkles in the future.
So what is preventative Botox? This is when, rather than waiting until the wrinkles are formed, someone gets Botox when their wrinkles are still very minimal or before they've even onset into the skin. The theory behind this is that if you start the Botox young, it'll weaken the facial muscles, preventing the wrinkles from forming in the first place. It's good or bad? Well, specialists in the aesthetic field, they have mixed opinions. Some love it and do it for their patients all the time. Some don't agree with it.
They're drinking out of anti-wrinkle straws so that they won't get wrinkles right here. They're doing things like mewing. It's supposed to, improve your jawline and make you look more, I don't know, make it look more defined and chiseled.
This is an exercise called mewing, and it's supposed to give you a defined jawline. You do this by lifting your tongue up to the roof of your mouth while closing your lips together.
We have started to analyze our faces into oblivion. There are things like double lip line, which is not desirable, and you are supposed to want to hide that. Facial convexity angle, yeah, that's a thing. Then there's high versus low visual weight. Again, high visual weight is desirable and low visual weight is not. Look, if you notice any of those things or are worried about any of those things, trust me, close your laptop, turn off your phone, go outside, go for a walk, go for a jog, play an instrument, paint a picture. Life will instantly seem better. Don't waste your precious time on this earth. And I say that as someone who wasted a few of her teenage years on, in retrospect, stupid stuff. You only get a limited time here, so use it well. Use it to love yourself and others, and try to be a good person. Now, why is it that these trends are emerging or re-emerging, coming back, repackaged? Okay, so first of all, comparing oneself to others is a very natural, very human thing to do. We've always done it, and I think we probably always will. And it's not necessarily always bad either, right? It can be done in a healthy way, because comparing yourself to others can push you to work harder, to improve something. But of course, because we are only human and we can't take things in moderation, comparing ourselves to others usually just makes us feel more insecure and depressed. Go figure. There is such a thing as moderation, though unfortunately the internet doesn't seem to have this word in its vocabulary. So really, it's no wonder that these crazy trends are emerging. It's the internet that spreads them like wildfire after all. But it's also us humans who engage with content, and we typically tend to engage more with outrageous things, for better or for worse. And, the moderate, normal things just kind of aren't that interesting to us. We have this vast online space now, with people from all over the world, with people of all ages, each of them beautiful in their unique way. And for some reason, certain traits are considered more desirable. And yes, this can be connected to biology or to culture, sure. But a lot of the time, it has a lot to do with trends as well. Let's make a quick segue into K-pop. Now, bear with me, I'll get to the point. For idols and various Asian celebrities, getting plastic surgery, at a very young age even, is not really that strange or stigmatized as perhaps in the West. Even for regular people from Asian cultures. Getting plastic surgery or cosmetic procedures in order to improve your chances of getting a job, a partner, that's all very much socially acceptable. And with the relatively recent popularization of K-pop, K-drama, the West also got exposed to the good and the bad sides of the industry and of this culture. Now, of course, there's nothing wrong with admiring someone or striving to be like them, but you're in too deep when you believe that you can change your race with plastic surgery, or even worse, with subliminals. I didn't want to dive too deep into subliminals because this whole thing really makes me concerned, but it's basically, communities on TikTok, for example, of people, typically young people, who want to be a different race, and they believe they can genuinely become a different race by writing down affirmations like, I am Korean, I have monolid eyes, I speak Korean, I was born in Korea. And then they watch subliminals, like videos that are supposed to, if you watch them, they're supposed to change your body. Don't ask me how it works, I don't understand, I'm just the messenger. Now, if you're a young person and you like a certain race, ethnicity, or their culture, enjoy your Japanese food and your K-dramas. But to think that you can truly become a different race just by thinking about it and that your face is magically gonna... So, young people will see these perfect celebrities, but their perfection is more often than not achieved through various cosmetic procedures, typically even before they become a celebrity or before they make their debut as an idol. Now, of course, I want to make a disclaimer. I'm not blaming this whole thing on the Asian beauty standards and K-pop, not at all. But I do think it has a role to play in making young people from all over the world chase unattainable perfection and justify getting various cosmetic procedures. I also want to address the internet doctors, plastic surgeons, and I'm talking about actual practicing plastic surgeons who also happen to have an online presence. Now, some of them do a really good job at debunking various myths about cosmetic procedures and plastic surgeries. They present the topic in a very personable way, which is great for lay people who may watch them, right? They provide a lot of information. That's good. But here is my potential issue with this, and I'm kind of torn on this topic, so I'll try to explain it in a concise way, though it might not come across as that, but we'll try. If you're talking about plastic surgery, you're bringing the topic closer to people, but you're also exposing them to this topic on a regular basis more and more. Nonetheless, you are also promoting your business if you are in this business. And all this combined is definitely going to get people more used to the idea that plastic surgeries, nose jobs, lip fillers, Botox and all that these are not so strange, that they are quite ordinary, right? You see them online every time you open your social media. You see people who have had these procedures. And again, destigmatizing plastic surgery is not a bad thing. I do want to emphasize that. But I think talking repeatedly about cosmetic procedures, presenting them over and over again, whether you present them in a positive or negative light, it is going to expose people to the topic, and it can trivialize it. It can make someone more likely to say, oh, I wasn't going to do that, but now I see this on my social media all the time. Many of my friends or peers have got procedures. I'm kind of the only one or I feel like I'm kind of the only one who hasn't had anything done, and it doesn't really seem that bad. I've heard a lot of information about it. I should probably do something to myself as well. I know that the goal is to present a topic in a personable way, to bring it closer to people, and that's not bad. At the same time, it's also very successful marketing. Let's not beat around the bush. I wonder, isn't it good if there is some distance, some hierarchy between your doctor or your plastic surgeon or your lawyer and yourself? Is it just me who prefers that an authority figure stays an authority figure? I don't want to get operated on by a complete stranger either, but also not by the most popular internet doctor or the most popular plastic surgeon who's also a TikTok celebrity. Sometimes when that's the case, we have things like this happening.
She's the famous physician known as Dr. Roxy. She live streamed plastic surgery on TikTok, gaining a huge following. But now, Dr. Roxy, whose real name is Catherine Grawi, has been permanently stripped of her license by the state medical board in Ohio. The board said its decision was based on her failure to meet standard of care following evidence that she botched 3 surgeries.
I don't know. Ultimately, I think it comes down to how a particular individual presents themselves on the internet, what kind of image they create. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of torn on this topic. I see both sides and I have my issues with it because I know that a big part of why a lot of doctors, plastic surgeons, whatever, have their online presence is in order to promote their business. But let me know what you guys think about plastic surgeons on the internet and about young people getting procedures before they're even in their 20s and kids being scared of the sun. Thank you for watching. Stay youthful and stay yourself, and I will see you soon in another video.